Bounties play a big role in the world of One Piece, we all know that, and yet they are so easily manipulable. So I started to ask myself a question. What would the actual time or moment be for Luffy receiving his first bounty? So we are going to discover this answer in today's video. Now let's get into Roman's Dawn. Here Luffy first takes down the Lord of the Coast, a sea monster that surely already killed multiple civilians from Fuchsia village, a very heroic deed, and this will continue over the entire video basically. Before you type angry comments, I know Luffy doesn't want to be a hero because heroes share their meat, but that doesn't stop other people to see him as a good guy. Oh, and we also need to overlook the fact that just raising a pirate flag is already a crime in the world of One Piece. Next, Luffy defeated Alvida and rescued Kobe in the process of doing that. Without the pink-haired boy telling the Marines, they would probably never even have learned of this event anyways. But nothing wrong with defeating a pirate if you are not a pirate yourself, right? What else are bounty hunters here for? Same with the last opponent of this arc, Axe-Hand Morgan. While technically a marine captain, he was a tyrant, and considering what he did to Garp a bit later, this also isn't a reason to see Luffy as a threat to the world government. Rather, he's going down a different path that will be relevant in the future. Let's get to the Orange Town arc. Nobody can tell me that defeating a pirate and in process freeing a town from his oppression is an evil deed, so Buggy getting clapped is completely fine and doesn't add anything onto a bounty. Syrup Village arc. You will notice a pattern, but just like before, rescuing not only a rich lady, but an entire village is a heroic deed, and the Marines maybe shouldn't even know Luffy defeated Kuro, unless the mayor of Orange Town for the Buggy case and Kaya now for Kuro sent reports to the world government and also called Luffy a pirate. But as he is their savior, they shouldn't do something stupid like that. At least I would think so. Then we get to the Baratier arc. This is the first arc in which the crew raised the Straw Hat Jolly Roger, but as I already said, we have to overlook this for just a bit, which shouldn't be too hard considering all of the good deeds Luffy and his crew have already done so far. Luffy's battle here wasn't as a pirate, as he technically was employed at the Baratier as a choir boy. So when fighting against Don Creek, it was not a pirate fighting, it was just an employee of the Baratier, and there's nothing wrong with protecting your workplace. Here we also meet our first warlord with Mihawk. Nothing changes in the way characters interact with each other, I just thought I should mention him as well because he's pretty cool. Now, Arlong Park. Probably the best arc in the East Blue Saga in my opinion. And here we are at the arc that is responsible for Luffy getting his bounty, Arlong Park. Not even because defeating Arlong was such a big feat, the real problem is a single marine member. So I have to use drastic measures to ensure that Luffy is not going to get a bounty. I have to erase Marine Captain Nezumi from this story. I know, it's an incredible loss as Nezumi is one of the favorite characters of a lot of people, but just for the sake of this video, let's ignore Nezumi. Only because he didn't get the money Nami saved up to buy back her village from Arlong and also got beaten up by the Straw Hat crew, he basically swore revenge against Luffy and reported his incredibly evil activities to a marine base close by. Maybe it was HQ, I'm not sure. This is a bit forced for a reason to be worthy of Luffy's first bounty, so with Nezumi's erasal, we will just continue along and see where Luffy would get his actual bounty. Loketown arc. You might think this arc would be very different with Luffy not having a bounty, but that is in fact not true. First of all, the Buggy encounters plus Alvida would be the same, but then comes Smoker. Captain Smoker does not only capture pirates that have bounties, he just doesn't want to let any scoundrel pass through his base and go to the Grand Line. That means he would even try to capture Luffy no matter his bounty, but he would still get interrupted by Dragon, and this marks the end of the first saga. Smoker still chasing after the Straw Hat Pirates, obviously. Then we get to Reverse Mountain and Whiskey Peak and Little Garden. There's not much to say about these three arcs, so we can skip over them for the sake of video length. Drum Island arc. In the big picture, Luffy once again did something quite heroic in this arc, but fighting against a world government affiliated king is a bit problematic. However, we can use Vivi's presence to call it a diplomatic dispute between Drum and Arabasta and move on. And we also have to say that the new Sakura Kingdom is way better off with Dalton as a king anyway, so I think Luffy did good things here as well. Now let's get to the Alabasta arc. This here may be the biggest change I propose for the entire story. Battles and everything would still go in a similar way to the canon path, and Smoker would receive a lot of the achievements for taking down Crocodile, but the big change I have in mind is that Luffy would get offered to fill up the now vacant spot on the Waters of the Sea. He just defeated Crocodile, so he should at least have gotten an offer for this position, I think. He always did these good things for different countries and different people and all of these things, so at least getting offered the position of a Warlord of the Sea would make a lot of sense. Obviously, our straw hat wearing hero would reject this offer, and while you might think that this should be the moment he receives a bounty, then I still say no. Some people got multiple offers to join the Warlords, and the bounty increase won't help the government to appear better to recruit that person. All things considered, if Blackbeard could be in Whitebeard's crew for decades without receiving a bounty, Luffy is still fine. Jaya and Skypiea. Talking about Blackbeard, these arcs don't do a lot in consideration to bounty either. And seeing Bella and me get smacked down by somebody who isn't even wanted, so basically has a 0 berry bounty, would be even more hilarious because he would underestimate Luffy so much more. Now, Long Ring Longland arc. Skip. Now to Water 7. In this arc, Luffy would receive his second offer to become a warlord. And there's a big reason why I think that the Marines and the world government would offer Luffy this position in this specific arc. Because as a warlord, Robin could stay with him, because she would be protected in the whole warrior system. But when he rejects the offer, she will still get taken by CP9. This could add another element to Luffy blaming himself. Not only did Usopp just leave the crew because he denied repairing the Mary and all of these things, and Usopp is very closely attached to the Mary, but also now he notices this entire thing with Robin could have easily been avoided if he just accepted the proposal to become a warlord. But now Robin got captured, and it's basically his fault for not wanting to become a warlord of the sea. Enies Lobby arc. Finally, we have reached the point of no return. With how long this video is and also how I talked about different events in the story, you might have already guessed it, but in my opinion, Luffy and his crew should have received bounties after the Enies Lobby incident of burning down the world government flag, and also defeating Cypher Pole 9, obviously. Their bounties would be the same they received after the canon Enies Lobby arc, showing their strength even more so, as they all would have way bigger starting out bounties than in the canon story. Post Enies Lobby arc, we still need to mention that, because I think even though Luffy has received his bounty after the incident of Enies Lobby, he only learns, and everybody else in the crew only learns, when they are in the post Enies Lobby arc back in Water 7. So to round it all up, I believe it would be a cool story moment for Kobe to be the person to bring Luffy his first bounty and then show him how much he has grown. This could even be a part of the whole mirroring things that is going on in One Piece, so that Kobe is the person to tell Luffy about his first bounty in this arc, and then also at the end of the story about his last bounty as the Pirate King. Now, let's get to the ending of this whole thing. So only after 400 plus chapters would I have given Luffy a bounty, quite a different approach to Oda. What do you think? Would you have liked that in the story? Tell me in the comments. But that's all from me for today. All that's left to be said is stay healthy, stay happy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro, out. Bye!